A familiar ceiling. The smell of bed and pillows, I knew them well. Was this my room? Normally there wouldn't be anyone in my room besides me, but their presence made me spring wide awake. When did I? Pain shot throughout my entire body. Feeling alright? I think you better just lie down for a bit. Why was Rena in my room? Blood began to surge through my muscles and my capillaries. But Rena's smile belonged to the Rena I knew well. I knew I shouldn't let myself feel this way, but I relaxed thinking that this version of Rena was safe. Why am I... Don't you remember? After losing consciousness? Nothing at all. My body had become more lethargic than I could ever imagined. I guess that would be the expected outcome after exerting everything I had back there. I tried to at least clear my mind, but I couldn't shake the sluggish feeling out of my head. I was completely wrong, but we'll just roll with it. I called the doctor. He should be here soon. I think you better just lie down until then. I wasn't injured serious enough to merit calling a doctor, but knowing that someone impartial was coming was slightly reassuring. Why am I here? I'm sure I was at the damn site. That's what I want to know. What happened? When I got there, Keiichiko was already passed out. That's why I'm the one who wants to know. I was attacked by two weirdos. As I talked about it, I finally remember what happened right before I passed out. Recalling that memory and the terror that went along with it caused the fogginess around my head to clear right up. Let's forget about those two for now though, just, push that thought back. I didn't expect Rena to be nursing me. I thought Rena was trying to kill me. She would have the perfect chance while I was unconscious. Not only did she not kill me, she had nursed me back to health. Amazing you could drag me all the way back here. Wasn't I heavy? Looking at Rena's delicate frame, it was hard to believe that she had not only gotten me back home, but even dragged me all the way up to the second floor. Did she have some kind of help? Don't you remember, Keiichiko? Rena appeared a bit surprised, but still kept her smile. I only propped you on my shoulder. You said you could walk on your own and that you were fine. You don't remember? I didn't remember. My memory was fuzzy after the point where I lost consciousness. What about those two? Huh? When you got there, Rena, the ones with me, or rather those two guys. There wasn't anyone. She said it bluntly. The way she stated it felt slightly unpleasant. I was just too timid at that time. I might have been able to force some answers out of Rena, but if I did that, then this kind Rena might transform into the scary Rena I didn't know. Who I didn't know, fearing that, I didn't press any further. Thinking about it, it was the obvious choice. If both of those men were there, I don't think Rena would have even stood a chance. I couldn't find a way to explain it unless I assumed she brought me here after those two were already gone. Actually, I think Rena could stand a chance against those two guys if she still had the axe of her. Rena was still smiling. Her eyes sparkled warmly. Yet, I felt like I was hallucinating when I saw something. Something akin to a shadow slowly creeping across her face. That small omen sent shivers down my spine. While Rena was still Rena, I needed to make contact. I needed to contact Oshi-san. Rena stopped me when I tried to get out of bed. He said it would aggravate my wounds, so I should sleep. I'd rather go to the bathroom though. Sorry. Rena couldn't say anything else. While Rena stayed in the room, I quickly went downstairs to get the phone receiver in the living room. Yay for wireless technology! When I approached the front door, the doorbell rang. It must have been the doctor Rena had called. It was strange for a patient to welcome in a doctor who was making a house call, but it would be incredibly reassuring to have him here for that considerable time it would take Oshi-san to get here. I carelessly opened the door with that simple assumption and regretted it almost instantly. Hey Mion. Mion? Oh, you just look fine. I heard you collapsed, so I came to check up on you. How did you know I had collapsed? I heard from Rena over the phone. Do I need any other reason than that? I understood why she would call a doctor. Well, why Mion too? Rena was descending the stairs behind me. Rena, doesn't K-chan look pretty alright? Ish, you made me worried about nothing. That's true. Maybe I worried for nothing as well. They both began laughing. It appeared to be a cheerful laugh, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was a darkness looming over them. Well, what's up with this shoe rack? How did it get like this? The shoe rack that I smashed to bits had been like that since yesterday. I fell, you see, and the bat I was holding at the time slammed into it. This is what happens when you swing around something you're not used to handling. I kept the fact that it was none of her business to myself. But leaving it like this will really startle your parents when they get home. I'll fix it up for you later. Now, come on, K-chan. The terminally ill need to... we're not enough, we're terminally ill. Come on, back to bed. Both of them urged me up the stairs. I had no chance to call Oshi-san. I was pushed into my bed. As it was the first time Mia had been in my room, she began searching around it intently. She fed around my room and was scolded by Rena. You can imagine how it went. It was uncomfortable having my room poked around, but the conversation was so benign that it was heartwarming. During that innocent conversation, Mion said something as though it was perfectly ordinary. What did she say then? Rena, did you call the manager? Yep. Right after I called Mi-chan. He said he'd be right over. Manager? That out of place word gave me a bad feeling. Rena called a doctor, then called Mion. After that she called a manager? Who was this manager? Since Rena and Mion's conversation was so peaceful, it only felt slightly odd. What are you two talking about? Who's this manager? Hahaha, didn't you know, K-chan? We mean the manager when we say manager. Like the director of a movie, or like a foreman of a construction site. That's a weird way of describing it all. I dug through all my memories for a manager who might have business with me. Only one thing came to mind. What Rena had just said. A construction site foreman. The very first victim of the first incident, the dismemberment at the damn construction site. The foreman? Now that was strange. He was supposed to be dead. There was no way they could call him. Maybe they got a spirit phone. I don't understand what you guys are talking about. What does that manager have to do with me? You said he was coming. Yeah, you said he was coming. Did you mean to my house? I asked one obvious question after another, but all the two of them did was smile coolly at each other. There was a huge difference between how the two of them appeared and how my suspicions were playing out. Slowly, I felt discomfort and panic welling up inside me. I couldn't understand what Rena and Mion were talking about. K-chan, you got into baseball lately, haven't you? Pretty sure the manager will be happy to hear that. So who is this manager? You wanna clarify that? You wanna not say ha 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 the manager is the manager and laugh a bit more? You wanna expand on it? So who is this manager? No, you're just gonna laugh. I'm not even gonna do the laugh, you're just laughing haughtily. Rena and Mion looked at each other and laughed haughtily. That disturbing cackle unpleasantly resounded around me. I'm just not gonna do it. There's so much laughter right now for some reason. That laugh, long enough to be unsettling, ended abruptly. Oh yeah, we should finish up before the manager comes. You remember, don't you, Kei-chan? Her face was laughing, but Mion's eyes told a different story. Remember? Remember what? Hahaha, Keiichi-kun, had he forgotten, I wonder? About the penalty. About the penalty. Did you really forget? The homework with the mochi. The homework where you were supposed to guess which one Rena made. You forgot about that homework, didn't you? I certainly did have that homework, but I'd thrown away the rest of the mochi after I found that sewing needle, so I wasn't able to answer which one Rena made. The penalty for that? Why now? Great. Good, just great. This does not sound good, does it? Like literally the music. No doubt my question was written all over my face. Their answer to my question was that dry laughter. I could no longer make heads or tails of anything. I began to think that this entire day was somehow insane. Strange. Incomprehensible. Being chased by Rena. Attacked by strange men. The penalty Mion and Rena were talking about. Ha 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 ha. What were those two laughing at? It didn't take that long for me to realize I had been dragged into an abnormal situation. Who were these two? Who were these people? Who were these doppelgangers of Rena and Mion? Hey Rena! You're back with those crazy eyes again. Rena had gotten behind me at some point. Why was she pinning my arms behind my back? What are you doing? Don't move. This is your penalty. Boy, this does not feel comfortable, does it? My body was already very sluggish, and Rena pinning my arms made it much harder to move. I seriously tried to struggle, but she wouldn't even budge. My panic began to well up, and I realized that this was well beyond the realm of jokes and pleasantries. This freakishly monstrous strength, it would have been impossible for the Rena that I knew. Then those thin, frail arms grasped me firmly. Whose arms were they? Kei-chan, no struggling. Club rules, there are no exceptions. You can't fight against the penalty. The penalty will get you eventually. Mion, no. That thing that looked like Mion spoke to me like how Mion would speak to me. But I was certain that this was not Mion. Someone who wasn't Mion. Someone who was just pretending to be Mion. Need to finish this up before the manager gets here. God, if we were the mafia, the manager would be horrible, wouldn't it? Mion fished into her pockets and pulled out something bizarre. I'm gonna tell her what it was by just looking. I could tell what it was by looking, but for such a thing to be in her pocket, my mind wouldn't accept it. What had she pulled out? What is that? It was a small syringe. It was a small, clear syringe, like what a doctor would use when you went to him when you were sick. But it held me even tighter. All I could hear that clanging laughter that no longer seemed like laughter blaring into my ear. That eerie laughter, it wasn't something that the Rena I knew could ever produce from her own throat. This thing that was pretend to be Rena, was this their real laugh? Unable to defend myself, the syringe Mion was holding grew closer, and that needle tip was just waved in front of my face countless times. Don't worry, it won't hurt. What are you planning on doing? What kind of sick joke is this? What are you saying, Kei-chan? You know exactly what's going on, don't you? What about what? I don't understand any of this at all. I know you know. No use playing the fool this late in the game. Stop talking nonsense to try and confuse me. You're going to have done to you what happened to Tomitake-san. What? What? The same as Tomitake-san? I didn't really understand what she meant. What did that have to do with this syringe? You're playing dumb, Keiichi-kun. You should have realized it by now. Rena whispered into my ear, laughing as if to admonish me. But even the way she spoke was repulsive beyond compare. Playing dumb? Me? About what? What do you mean, the same as Tomitake-san? Everyone thought at first that it was a hit and run, except when the officer got closer to check if he was still alive, he soon noticed it wasn't a normal situation. His throat was scratched out. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? Nails as in fingernails? With those gouged through? That's right. Tomitake-san had clawed out his own throat with his own nails and died. There was no way someone could die like that. So then for that to happen, we thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. That's right. The police didn't find any drugs in Tomitake-san's system. Then what's happening to us right now, Keiichi? The police told me they didn't find drugs in Tomitake-san's body. What? I don't even know. I have no idea. The two of them laughed together with that sickening laughter. Of course they laugh. To assume such a medicine didn't exist just because the police didn't know about it was just completely foolish. Meaning the drug that caused Tomitake-san to die in such a bizarre manner did exist. If Mion injected this into me, then that would probably be all the proof I needed. That would basically mean I ended up the same as Tomitake-san. Become hysterical, scratching down my throat in my last moments, and then die. For such an outrageous drug to exist, for Mion to be holding it, and that I was about to be injected with it. At that moment, I did not feel there was any need whatsoever to question it. What kind of idiot, when he's trying to dodge a ball flying straight for his head, has time to think of a reason as to why it's flying at him? Just give up. Alright then. Mion's action lacked any gravitas, and that made it even more terrifying. At least she's not got the crazy eyes at the moment, as I think that's perfectly fine. There was none of the ceremony like when someone is sentenced to death. There was no hesitation at all, as if she were brushing her teeth. Mion reached out with one hand and grabbed onto my chest. It felt like electricity had run through the back of my head and the entire world had gone dark. Did I stand up too fast? Or did someone hit me really hard in the back of my head? Having lost my sense of balance, I was assaulted by a wave of dizziness. What's happening to us now? Apparently the world is going white. Yep. Okay, that's the end of that. Okay. We shall never know what happened.